brace yourselves.
This is the daily. Story you've never even heard before in your life till, well, now. Come on, winter. It's spring, for crying out loud. Turn us loose. I've had it with this weather. I am making my way through a 28 balmy, beautiful day in Titusville. But there's a story in the Woodlawn Cemetery I can almost guarantee that you've never heard before. But today, well, whew, that's cold. I'm gonna tell you. It's about a man named Dr. George W. Barr, MD. Died January 18th, 1912. But back in the day at Titusville, during the oil boom, this guy was a doctor and a surgeon. But him and his wife moved here to Titusville during the oil boom with their younger son, George Jr. And remember his wife's name, Lavina. Because further along in the story, you'd be like, okay, well, that's kind of weird. Yeah, just when I get to that point, I'll just let you know, okay? But remember Lavina. But at the tender age of 3 years, 5 months, and 7 days, George and his wife's son dies. Yes, infant, only 3 years old, dies from water on the brain. Can you imagine how tough that is to have a son die at 3 years old? I've never been through that in my life, but I can only imagine the pain. Oh man! You alright? I know, winter sucks, but you gotta listen to the story, or how rough that would be to have your 3-year-old pass away from a rare disease. But there is a bright spot in the story. Their son, soon to be, Lavina, is pregnant with their second son, Charles. But tragedy strikes again. Little Charles, 5 months, 27 days old, dies. Yes, this man is a doctor, people. And his kids just tragically keep passing away. This is mind-blowing to me. I don't think I can handle what this guy went through. But the story goes, 2 years later, George's wife, well, Lavina, you know what I'm gonna say, right? I'm sure you got a heads up on what I'm gonna say. Well, she lived. No, Lavina dies at 34 years of age. I know. You know, we all go through tragedies in life. Things happen that we just can't understand. Imagine how George is feeling. His 2 kids go. Then his young wife dies. But later on, and in the story I read, they said he was a happy-go-lucky guy. Always brought a smile to a room when he'd come in, because he was the surgeon of Titusville, and he was the doctor around here. So he was well known and respected. But they said he always brought a smile. He was a really good guy. And I'm thinking, man, this guy, you know, he's tough as nails. But down the road, George marries another lady named, are you ready for this? Lavina. Vina. Lovina. So Lovina passes away. He marries Lovina. Life sometimes is strange. There is a bright spot of this story though, okay. Lovina and George, previously, before their two sons have passed away, they had a daughter, Iris. Iris lived to be I think the ripe old age of 92. She actually was a teacher in the Titusville area. She is right beside George in the Woodlawn Cemetery. Yeah, Iris was a school teacher and on the board. She died in 1954. So George did have happy memories of having a family. A lot of tragic, but Iris did live. And his remarriage to Lovina, they had a daughter named Eva. Now Eva and Lovina are buried in New York, so they are not here at Woodlawn. But just walking around here, there's a mystery going on here. Now George's two sons they're not documented on the Woodlawn Cemetery plot page. Just standing here, I believe this, because on the Woodlawn plot page, his mother is buried here. And you cannot read the writing on these. Man, oh man. This has got to be his mom, but what the mystery is, this has got to be a child. Whoop, sorry buddy. Either his firstborn or Charles, who passed away with this stone. On the Woodlawn website, they don't have George's two young sons mentioned buried here. But it makes me wonder who that, because normally the little stones are kids. We'll see like that too. See, I don't know how these little stones are normally real young, or they're really always a tiny stone. I do a lot of crazy stories that people have never heard of. I dig up the weird facts in places, but my ear is 28. My ear just fell off about 3 steps back there. But I do a lot of weird, crazy stories. And Woodlawn Cemetery is the gift that keeps giving. Every time I go deep on the internet, I find these weird, random stories. Look at this. Somebody put pennies on the gravestone of the famous witch grave. She's not a witch, people. Go watch one of my old videos on my main channel. Yeah, she's not a witch. She was just a young mother who died of disease. Yes, I know, I just made 30 or 40 people upset about that. I get it why George is buried here, and then his daughter was a school teacher here, and she's buried here. But I don't know why his second wife, basically a year after she died, George died. And they said he died basically from a broken heart, from Lovina dying. So I don't know why Lovina is not buried here with him. She's in New York with their other daughter. I mean, they had ties to New York, so I mean, it is what it is. The more you know. You know, I've been sick all week. I have not been, well, let's just say, I haven't been in a good mood all week. I've just been sick all week long. I feel like I've been Buddy Revelled. Then spring comes along and the weather, it snowed for 4 days straight here. I don't understand what is going on here. Priscilla Presley's dad. The more you know. I've been building up a bunch of emails and questions I've been getting. I figured it'd be pretty cool to do them this week since I kind of had an off week of being sick, but I had this weird story I had to tell you. Aspen?
This is an aspen. You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is.
But a bunch of questions I got, and for you who have questions that you were wondering about, maybe somebody questioned me on it. Maybe I'll answer today. You'll be like, oh, that's why he does that. Well, today's your day because, well, I'm gonna answer them. Again, the guy leaves his door open for anybody to visit. That guy's a nice fella. I've so had it with this weather. I can't. Yeah, I'm done with this weather. You need to go away, is what I'm telling you. Yeah. But I got the question on YouTube. How did I get started? Now, I've went through this before. I'll just say it briefly. Watching YouTube for a couple of years, I realized everybody else is doing stuff. They're doing theme parks, they're doing Disney, they're doing abandoned places, they're doing all these things, and I thought to myself, well, nobody in Titusville is doing stuff here. And I thought, what if I jumped to the game of the old YouTubes and I started filming in Titusville, showing all the random stories, all these weird places, and I basically fell into the niche of showing you stories that nobody talks about. Yes, Titusville is known for the first successful oil well. It is. But there's so many more stories here. That's why I got into YouTube, because I realized there's more stories here that people don't even know about. So, in the short version, that's why I got into YouTube. That's all I'm trying to tell you. And, well, I thought it'd be fun. And you know what? It's more fun than going to work. I can tell you that. Oh, hold on. Hold on here. There we go. Jeez. I got the question recently. I put a video out on my main channel, and it says I was restarting that soon. Now, that is restarting soon, but when the warmer weather comes. I put one out 3 months ago or so on my main channel saying my main channel is going to restart. And a lot of stuff has happened. If you've been watching me every Monday on the daily here, a lot of stuff has happened where it's kind of pushed me back from even doing my main channel. But when the warmer weather starts, that will start. And I am, oh good Lord, I am either pushed over 500 subscribers on that, or I'm close to 500. I'm not sure, I have not checked it in a while, but thank you all for jumping on board to the main channel that I haven't put anything on for about 4 months. But I appreciate that, and that will start soon, just to let that person know, yes, it will start when the weather, well, stops being stupid. That's what I'm trying to say.
I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
Whew. You know, I do a lot of weird stories, but in the stories that I read, a lot, I don't know, I'm not even joking here. There's a lot of these tragedies and a lot of these stories, the people They lived on North Main Street in Titusville. I don't know what the connection is to North Main Street and the stories that I read and I do, but the weird stories, seems like they were always a resident of North Main Street in Titusville. And I know where the house is, and I even got the house number of where Dr. George lived. But I won't show it for respect out of the people that live there now. But it always comes back to North Main Street for some odd reason. Don't ask me why. I don't know. You hear that? That's something's up with my muffler. What is going on? Yeah, I noticed it last week. I'm like, my muffler sounds a bit louder than it normally should, because normally you can't even hear my car running. But yeah, I better have that looked at. See you later, Colonel. I'll be back again. I'm sure of it. I gotta say, having a mini fridge in your room / studio, there's nothing better. Oh, that's beautiful. I got a question. How did you get your name? Well, what happened was I used to wear Vans, okay? I was a Van guy. I wore Vans through and through. Every day, all day, to work, everywhere I went. But Vans destroyed my back. And if you follow me on this channel for the past year, a little over a year, you know my back was destroyed and I was on my back for a year. I couldn't go to work. So I went back to traditional me. I went back to the cowboy boot. But I got my name from an old school Van shoe. Get it? Old school Joe. That's how my alias was born. Yes. I've got that question like 4 times. Who gave you your name? I did. But get on my Facebook, get on my Instagram, follow me on there, because I always put up the thumbnail every Sunday, actually Monday morning, of what I'm doing for Monday. It lets you guys a little sneak peek on what's going on. But I gotta say, this week, with the weather, me being under the weather, that poet didn't even know it, really was a rough week for me. But I got this story out. I've been sitting on this story for like, about a month now. I wanted to do it, but the weather just doesn't want to change. But I want to thank everybody who's jumping on board. Everybody on this daily channel and the main channel. I have to look and see how many subscribers are on the main channel. But once you hit a certain number, you get monetized. Now, if that number is past 500 on my main channel, I'll be monetized soon. This channel, once I get to 500 and then 1,000, the 500 you get monetized too. Certain little perks come in with 500 subscribers. So, very cool of everybody who watches me. And very cool of everybody who subscribes to me. But what a weird week. Very odd. And you know, his wife and his 2 sons, there's no record on where they're buried. I don't get that. I've looked everywhere. Everywhere. 10 websites, it just talks about the man. It don't talk about where the kids or the first wife are buried. Life is strange. But once the weather starts clearing up too, putting out longer vlogs. This weather, But those were the days when Dr. George from Titusville had a very tragic life. Those were the days where Dr. George found true love, but his heart got broken after his second wife passed away. Man, you just never know what's going to happen on in life. Things just randomly happen where there's no explanation. Life is strange. But what a weird story. And you know me and weird stories, I love them. But those were the days when I hate winter and I'm looking forward to the sun. Remember summer? I miss summer. Let's get summer back. See you Monday. Mr. Kitty, Everybody loves you. Say hi to the people. Say hi to the tube. Say hi to the tube. Oh, see, yeah. See, everybody loves you. And by the way, everybody, my cat don't have a name. I know, buddy. I know. His name is Mr. Kitty. I know. I'm weird.
Yeah,